Today on Locked On Rockies, the Colorado Rockies have been the worst team in baseball over the last 10 games. No argument about it.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 17th day of May in the year 2022. I'm Paul Holden, your Rockies fan extraordinaire, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Rockies podcast. Your team every day, proud to be your first listen of the day as well. You can find out more about what I do at Paul Holden on Twitter and at paulfholden.com. Today on the pod, we have to talk about the fact that the Rockies have been the worst team in Major League Baseball over the past 10 games. There's the numbers show it, the records show it. There's no team that in the last 10 games has won less games than the Colorado Rockies. The Colorado Rockies have spoiled their early season momentum. Any early season energy and lead in terms of a wild card spot or a higher spot in the division have all evaporated, as the Rockies are now the only team in the National League West to sit below 500. It's a very, very, very tough stretch. It hasn't gotten any better, and it didn't get in. And you'd think a homestand for the Rockies is the exact remedy, but unfortunately, the Rockies drop another game at home. The Rockies have 3 of their last 4 games at home in this homestand, and now they sit below 500 at 17 and 18. The wheels have completely fallen off. The Rockies have. I try to be positive when I can. I try to bring a nice energy, but there's no way to. The Rockies stink right now. And yes, they have scored a lot in these series, but it hasn't done much. But when you're sitting here, when you're watching the Rockies play, the energy is low. The mistakes are still confusing. And the biggest worry of the season going into the in this offseason, other than some other stuff, I guess it wasn't even the biggest thing because there were so many things we worried about in the offseason. The bullpen has been atrocious, has been awful. The bullpen has been terrible. The Rockies had to turn to the bullpen yesterday, and what did they do? To run every inning. You can't do that to the San Francisco Giants. You need someone to come in and be able to shut the door. In this bullpen, is there anyone other than Tyler Kinley that you sit there and say, I'm good with them being in this bullpen? It's awful. I'm sorry, the Ty Block, it's not the magic wore off. I'm sick of watching Ty Block give up home runs. Daniel Bard, I mean, golly. 2 outs, 2 strikes. We're piping slide. We're missing sliders that bad. I mean, your team had an opportunity to beat the Giants in a bullpen game. You gotta shut the door. You gotta come in there. I know that you already are feeling it from the Royals game. You gotta be pissed off, Daniel Bard. You gotta just take the energy or something and come out with it with a ferocity. Stop thinking you're gonna miss that slider and throw it because you just caved the first 2 people in the inning. Ah, man. It's maddening right now. Live chat, the airs though. Ryan McMahon can't be this bad on defense. We were talking Gold Glove. We were talking taking down Nolan Arenado for the Gold Glove this year. See you later to that. No chance. No chance. Long gone. Everything positive about the Rockies start has evaporated, and the Rockies are in crisis mode. You have to fix things, and you have to make adjustments now. In the live chat, maybe Colomé does take the 9th. Maybe his slow approach cools off and annoys batters in the 9th versus Daniel Bard can get outs. But yes, the Rockies need a closer. The Rockies need someone that can finish these games. The Rockies need to win one-run ball games. They need to walk it off like they did last year, or else it's just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. An adjustment has to be made. You can't continue to play this bad streak of baseball with no adjustments. Sending Dom Nunez down is weird, honestly. Are you trying to get more offensive production from the call up? I don't know. How about getting your bullpen help back? I tweeted at Danielle Allentuck yesterday, just because I was curious, because there was about some moves. Let me see. I tweeted at her because she was talking about Chris Bryant coming back and how Chris Bryant being back in the lineup will most likely lead to a reliever being called down. She tweeted out, when Chris Bryant returns, likely on Friday, the Rockies are planning on going back to a 4-man bench, so it will be a reliever who is an option. So I just said, any idea if we will see Lawrence coming back up anytime soon? Seems like this would complicate that. Danielle tells me, and if you're curious who Danielle is, she's writes for the Colorado Springs Gazette. She's a great follow on Twitter. Super great. One of the great Rockies people you should follow. I have no doubt we'll see Lawrence back at some point, but right now I don't know if I see that happening until someone gets hurt / someone else needs to be optioned. They have to go back to 13 pitchers in 2 weeks anyway and stay there for the rest of the season. We're just going to keep sending out Block and Estevez, and I mean, Gilbreth needs it had a couple of great looking things, but man, Ashton Godot has not been what the Rockies need. And looks like my dog wants to get out of the room here, but she's hearing me rant and she wants to run away from things. Give me 1 second. The beauties of live podcast recording, but maybe that was to help take me off my rant train. But I think we should be ranting at this point. The Rockies have to perform better. This is there's just no argument about it. Yeah, we're all my dog right now, fleeing the Rockies. Adrian says, I think they're giving Diaz pressure to play better. Yeah, because I mean, that's the thing. I knew putting the heightened expectations on Elias Diaz was an issue, especially when we looked at how Elias Diaz was a second half player, not a first half player. Elias Diaz was awful in the first half of 2021. Hoping that he heats up, but hopefully Chris Bryant coming back is going to bring an energy and a momentum shift. But I don't know how that's going to help the bullpen, because there's no real options. Lawrence is the only interesting one in the system. Senzatella is now hurt, 10-day IL. The Rockies' starting pitching depth was already paper thin, so the Rockies might be coming up, with another young guy to fill Senza's spot. Crisis mode for the Colorado Rockies. Going to dive deeper into the struggles of the bullpen here. Roxpile has a piece on that, but before we do, got to tell you about our friends at Built Bar. Imagine dipping your finger into that plastic tub of birthday cake frosting and then opening your eyes and realizing that it's only 150 calories and 16 grams of protein, only 9 grams of sugar too. That is what it's like to eat a birthday cake puff from Built. I got my birthday cake puffs. You saw me eat it on the show yesterday. It is all a delicious, airy marshmallow. It's one of the craziest, cool texture things that you'll enjoy in a bar. And at 150 calories, 16 grams of protein, and only 9 grams of sugar, this limited time flavor is an amazing option if you are looking for a healthy way to get flavor and variety in your day. All Built Bar puffs are covered in 100% real chocolate. That means that with Built, you can eat healthy and actually enjoy doing it. They're made with collagen proteins, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides tons of health benefits. You can go to Built.com to see the birthday cake puffs and so many more at Built.com. And when you go to Built.com, you can use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That's 15% off at Built.com. That's LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order when you use the promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Let's dive into the chat before we head over to Roxpile. Brandon Kramer says, my purple shirts are fading to blue. I'm so sad after this last week. Adrian Ortega says, have you noticed that ever since the broadcast revealed Bard's secret, he's been bad? No, I haven't. Is it something about his slider? I don't know. Maybe I missed that. Brandon Kramer says Colorado needs to get a shot of the ninth. Now we talked about that. Eric Harper still the excitement has faded on Eric Harper's comments in the live chat. Go Rockies now has a period instead of a exclamation point. So you can see that the excitement is waning for our new Rockies fan friend here as well. Yeah, and welcome to Rockies fandom. We have a bunch of C+ performers, likable but underachieving. That's likable but underachieving. Make that the Colorado Rockies slogan right there. That's a good way to put it. Adrian says, I'm a big Sheffield guy. I don't know what happened that we don't know, but he was in my opinion the best reliever we had last year. It's the bullpen's a total mystery. And let's dive in more here. Let's head over to Rock's Pilot. Aaron Hurt writes, Colorado Rockies, the bullpen has been woeful in recent games. Remember when the Colorado Rockies bullpen was a huge reason for the early season success? I sure do. In fact, I wrote about it in this article that seems like so long ago. The Rockies have lost 8 of their last 10 games, dropping their season record to 7-18, and a lot of the blame can be squarely placed on the woes of the bullpen. In those 10 games, the pen has surrendered 19 earned runs in 27.2 innings of work. That's a 6.29 ERA. This recent collapse has led to Rockies relievers to be dead last in the major league in ERA, 5.4, whip 1.54, and batting average 2.65. Leading this dumpster fire has been Julius Chacin, who has pitched like a candidate to be designated for an assignment so far this season. In 15.1 innings pitched, 12 appearances, Chacin has allowed 14 earned runs, an 8.22 ERA, 14 hits, and 7 walks, while striking out 13. Throw in the fact that he held the opposing team scoreless in only half of his 12 outings, and it brings the thought of just how much he has left to give the Rockies. Sadly, the rest of the bullpen hasn't been much better. Currently, the only reliable reliever is Tyler Kinley, who's been lights out with a minuscule .68 ERA and 13.1 innings over 15 appearances. Boy, did we need him last night. There's also Daniel Bard, who was solid to start the year, but he has lost 2 games in a row for the Rockies. If the Rockies were to make a move involving Chacin, I think they need to recall Justin Lawrence from AAA Albuquerque immediately. It was already perplexing when they sent him down to the minors on May 8th, only so they could replace him with lefty Lucas Gilbreth. Lucas Gilbreth has been shelled in almost all of his outings, while Lawrence has only allowed 3 runs in 12.1 innings, 2.19 ERA, and 11 appearances. Until the bullpen can get back on track, the Rockies can continue to expect getting swept on the road and losing series to inferior teams, such as the Kansas City Royals at home. If they don't figure it out soon, any illusions of making a playoff run will all but vanish. Aaron, I couldn't agree with you more. It's time. It's time to cut someone is done. Someone's chances are up. You have to get this cutthroat. Where you have Lucas Gilbreth, even though he's been shelled because he's a lefty and he's your only option. That's why you have Lucas Gilbreth called up, and even though he's been shelled, you still want the option of a lefty. However, he's going to hold on. I got taken away from Adrian's comment. We'll dive back into that. But the point is, why? I mean, other teams are a little bit more strict with this. Why? How many times do the Rockies have to trot out the same arms only to be disappointed when they have one that's shown better potential, major league caliber, ready to go? Chacin is a Rockies legend, sure, but let's go back to the numbers, folks. Let's go back to Chacin, who is pitching 15.1 innings, 12 appearances. So 14 earned runs. That's almost a run per inning. You can't have that as a relief pitcher. 14 hits, 7 walks, and striking out 13. He's held the opposing team scoreless in only half of his 12 outings. Half of his outings, he's given up runs. That's is it just the vet? Is it just the fact that he's a Rockies guy? Enough. It's time for change. And now is the time to make this move. You have to do something like this. You have to make a drastic move. You have to change something because the Rockies have been the worst team in baseball, led by a bullpen that's dead last. And instead of just trotting them out and just saying, it's going to work, it's going to work, it's going to work. We saw it for 3 weeks at the beginning of the season. It's not enough. Bring back the guy that was having success. Let Lucas Gilbert continue to get in situations where you actually just want to throw in your lefty. Stop having someone that's giving in a run, an inning every time they pitch in relief. Just look at how many of you out there when Senzatella got hurt. And by the way, Senz is going to the 10-day. If you didn't catch that, Senzatella back strain, 10-day IL. That's also terrible news for the Rockies. But I just immediately just said, woof, here we go. And what happens? Home runs and runs and 7 innings pitched from the bullpen and 7 runs scored. Someone has to step up that isn't named Tyler Kinley. Someone in this bullpen has to make an adjustment, make a change, get with the pitching coach, watch the film, be a pro athlete, and take. And it's a time where pitchers are dominant. It's a time when offense is down across the league. It's a time they've seen it. What happened? Go back to watching film. Go back to doing your mechanics. Go back to whatever was working at the beginning of the season. Now she's back. She keeps coming in here. Anyway, she wanted to come back in. She's not getting rid of she's not giving up on the Rockies. We're not giving up on the Rockies either. And Eric points this out in the live chat here. I think Bard will get it back too. I think Daniel Bard is a good pitcher. I really do. I just don't necessarily think that he needs to be the closer for this team. I'd like to see Daniel Bard in the 6th and the 7th. I'd like to see Daniel Bard come in and just throw sliders, devastating sliders in the middle of a game before we can have someone. It might be interesting to flip Colome and Bard because it's kind of two opposite things. The Rockies could take a drastically different approach than what a lot of other people do when it comes to their closers. Instead of having a guy like we saw with the Giants come out and just throw 100 miles an hour, 6 pitches in a row, have them face the most painstakingly slow closer in the league. Have them make them completely change their mindset and approach at the plate instead of having to go up there and hack and defend. Maybe Coleman can just throw off their timing. I don't know. Just try it. But just don't try Carlos Estevez as the closer. Don't die. Don't I'm good on a Carlos Estevez save experience there as well. More comments, more reaction, more feedback from the live chat. But let's let you know about the other great people that make this show possible. And that includes Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer? Spoiler alert, you can do that too. You have a computer. You have access to rockauto.com in your pocket and at home. All you got to do is just go to rockauto.com and you're going to see all the parts your car and truck will ever need. You can save time and money when using Rock Auto. Don't spend 30%, 50%, 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership. Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years, and their prices are reliably low for every single customer. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. I'm going to dive into the live chat here. If you want to be part of the show, make sure that you're subscribed to Locked On Rockies and make sure that you dive into the live chat like our wonderful Rockies fans here do every single day that we record this podcast. And let's see. Nick says, Adrian touched on it yesterday, and it's true. Stop coddling players. They are pro athletes. I mean, it's kind of the business. The Rockies need to make some business decisions here. It doesn't feel good to designate anyone for assignment, I'm sure, especially someone with the name Chassin, with someone that has the impact. Look at what the Rockies have done this year and their whole history. Loyalty to the Rockies brand is what they're doing. They're putting their superstars into the organization in a variety of levels. That's probably very difficult. They're promoting their sons. It's a very difficult thing for the Rockies to do, to go against someone who's been loyal. But it's time to make some business decisions. Eric Harper says, I'm a lifetime Timberwolves and Senators fan. I hope I didn't bring bad mojo to the Rockies. Bad mojo was already here, but Timberwolves and Senators, that is some mojo to be bringing over here. That's for sure. Nick Tullen says, Ty Block had what? One or two good outings? Yeah, he was fine at the beginning of the year. Had some good stuff. Great story. We were blinded by that, but of late, long balls. I don't want to see 4 runs given up on 2 home runs in 2 innings against the San Francisco Giants at home. Let's see. Adrian says, Bard had it for 2 batters and it was insane. I thought we had a chance. At the same time, we needed 1 run to win and couldn't get 1 to tie, so we probably wouldn't have one anyways. Let's see. We also got so many misstandard opportunities from Lin King here. So let's hope for a better June, or at least a 500 finish to May. There's a whole second half to the month. There's a whole if you bounce back, you can work your way back above 500. You salvage the tough start to the month. But folks, this is a tough stretch of ball games, even at home for the Rockies. It's Mets or Giants into Mets. If you don't steal a couple of these, if you don't win a couple of these ball games, the hole you dig out, you have to go and be really good on the road against bad teams. You cannot afford another missed opportunity to bad teams when you're going to Pittsburgh and you're going to Washington. So there is this is a very, very big stretch with the Rockies in this series. Chad Kuhl on the bump here, the big surprise of the year when it comes to Rockies pitching. Hopefully he can keep the Giants in check, and the Rockies offense as the offense was there. They are hitting, at least. I mean, it was good to see the Rockies bounce back and put some runs on the board. I know it's home, but it was good, consistent hitting, finding gaps, using the field, good, hitting in runners in scoring position. Just got to adjustment. You got to stop now. The Bucks stopped last night on that home run. If you're going to turn this month around, if you're going to turn the early season around, you got to do it now, because the last 10 games, like we said at the top here, the Rockies have been the worst team in baseball. Oh, I didn't know Gerardo Parra had officially retired. That's an interesting point there from the chat. It's Gerardo Parra should never have left the Colorado Rockies. Gerardo Parra was a crucial part of the Rockies postseason team. I think his clubhouse energy, his presence, and sometimes his clutch ability to play were crucial to the Rockies. I think I think what he did for the clubhouse, I think what he did for the players, I think the lack of Gerardo Parra in the next years was felt. It's crazy. It was crazy to see how much that team enjoyed Gerardo Parra. He was someone that I really enjoyed watching, and someone that it brings a special value to your team, even if he's not always contributing on the field. That's someone that has that. I know it's sports cliche kind of, but he is that locker room presence that you look for. He's that person in the dugout that helps make that 162 game slog a lot better. So yes, it was a good career for Parra. Glad that he got that World Series championship with the Nationals. Very cool. Very good indeed. Adrian says, if we're being honest, I was very happy yesterday. We had a bullpen game in Coors of all places, and we got to the 9th tied. I hope this gives some confidence that we can compete against these guys. Yeah, that's a good mindset to have. It's something that'll soften the blow a little bit. I want to keep the realism here. I want to keep the criticism up because the team is in a tough spot. But however, though the bullpen struggled, though the bullpen could have been better, the Rockies were in a position to win that game up until the final inning, and still in the final inning. So, Adrian, you're absolutely right. Eric asks, who's everyone's favorite Rocky ever? My list includes Larry Walker, Todd Helton, Nolan Arenado, Troy Tulowitzki, Dexter Fowler. Let's see, Matt Holliday, Trevor Story. Let's see. Really loved Raimel Tapia too. Jordan Pacheco. Wow. That's a deep cut there. But Jordan Pacheco was a solid baseball player as well. Yeah, so folks, I'm going to kind of wrap things up here. I don't think I'm giving any more groundbreaking analysis. I think my frustration is kind of boiled over. I vented. I think we had a good conversation today. There's not much else to say when it comes to this Rockies team, other than we're seeing it, we're watching it. The bullpen needs to be better. The offense needs to be more consistent, even though they've been scoring a ton of runs at home lately. That's for sure. Can't take away from the Rockies' ability or the Rockies' offense scoring lately. It hasn't been the best run, but at least the Rockies are scoring runs and getting themselves back into ball games. We'll break things down here. Hopefully Chad Cool is going to keep it cool on the mound today and get the Rockies back to 500. A big night tonight. Hopefully the Rockies can snap this streak against the Giants. Golly, I hate watching the Rockies play the Giants, man, because the Giants just know how to beat the Rockies. Rockies looking to improve on this 2-8 10-game stretch, starting fresh new 10-game streak right here. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, everyone, for diving into the live chat here. I don't think I named everyone there, but all of you. The live chat's growing every single day. So if you want to get in on the Rockies conversation, Locked On Rockies on Twitter, LO Rockies, I should say, on Twitter, and right here on YouTube. Subscribe to Locked On Rockies. Join in. You can ask questions. We talk about them right here. Let's see a Rogers home run. I agree. Brendan Rodgers, stay hot. Hit a big home run. Let's get one. Let's take a win from the Giants tonight and feel good as Rockies fans. I want to make a winning Rockies recap thing, because I made one yesterday, but the webcam I used was like a potato. So all right, lock it in. B-Rod Homer today. Put it on your BetOnline bets. Folks, that's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for tuning into Locked On Rockies and making us your first listen of the day. Check out Locked On Now. Check out Locked On MLB for your second listens of the day. You can also check out all sorts of great Colorado Locked On podcasts with the Locked On Broncos, Locked On Avalanche, and Locked On Nuggets podcast. Let's get a big Go Avs go as well, as we have the Avalanche hitting the ice again here in the second round, taking on the Blues. We don't like St. Louis too much around here anymore, right? Anyway, folks, that's going to do for me. Thank you all so much for listening to the Locked On Rockies podcast. We'll see you tomorrow. This is Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies